wake up.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. It is Tuesday, September 10th. I'm Dave Alley.
And I'm Megan Monroe. It's 5:30. Wake Up Central Coast starts right now.
Wake up, you gotta shine with the sun. And here it comes, it's all about early. And I wanna be there.
An escaped prisoner accused of stabbing a deputy with a homemade knife is back in custody this morning.
It's a story first brought to you as breaking news yesterday right here on Wake Up Central Coast at 6:30. 25-year-old Abraham Pearson, he was going by the name Derek White. He was found on the east side of Detroit last night. Authorities say that Pearson stabbed a deputy with a shank made from a comb as he was being freed from his restraints in a courtroom where he was set to be sentenced for multiple felonies. A police spokesman says a tip from a citizen led officers to the fugitive.
We have several safeguards in place as we move people throughout the jail system. We're looking now to make sure that all of those safeguards were followed.
Pearson is now facing 11 additional charges. As for the deputy he attacked, officials say he's in good condition and is recovering right now at home.
A home explosion is under investigation this morning. The blast leveled the house and set a nearby home on fire. Officials say a person inside the home, believed to be house sitting at the time, is now considered missing. Fire officials say debris from that blast was found 75 yards away. This happened in Illinois. The cause is still under investigation.
Investigation is underway into a disturbance Sunday night outside the memorial for a Houston, Texas area high school stabbing that happened last week. Now, witnesses say that the brawl at the memorial for Joshua Broussard involved up to 40 people and it disrupted a sacred moment. Police believe it began after an alleged gang member was seen inside the church. Some memorial attendees say they hid in a storage closet. Others say they ran in every direction.
They had nothing to do up here. Like, none of their people was up here, and they're the ones that took Joshua's life, so they had no belonging up here.
Now, hours before that fight broke out, community leaders gathered outside the high school where the stabbing happened to address gang problems. They also discussed the racial divide between African-American and Latino students.
Well, happening right now. Voters are headed to the polls today. They'll be casting their vote for the Democratic primary. The question, who will be mayor? Who will be Mayor Michael Bloomberg's successor? I guess that's the real question. In order to avoid a runoff election on October 1st, 40% of voters must choose one candidate. Now, experts don't think the turnout will be high today. Two of the most controversial candidates are Anthony Weiner and Eliot Spitzer. Republicans have led the state for the past 5 mayoral elections.
Meantime, a manhunt is underway for a Crime Watch volunteer reportedly linked to at least 4 sexual assaults through DNA evidence in a Dallas, Texas neighborhood. The attacks happened over a 2-month period, and the suspect has been identified as a former Neighborhood Watch block captain. One woman says he told her family about a sexual assault before it even made the news. Now, police say the suspect voluntarily provided them with DNA evidence and then disappeared.
We had no indication, based upon our interview with suspect Dixon, that he would flee.
DNA test results from 2 other attacks are still pending. Police say the suspected rapist is not wanted for 2 other attacks that occurred in the same area around the same time.
Well, guilty. That's the plea from a Florida man. He's accused of tricking his pregnant ex-girlfriend into taking an abortion pill, causing her to miscarry. John Andrew Weldon pled guilty to product tampering and mail fraud. He says he forged his father's signature for a prescription of Cytotec. Now, that drug causes women to start contractions. He told his girlfriend the pills were antibiotics. Now he's admitted he didn't want his girlfriend to have his child. Weldon will be sentenced in December.
To California right now, there is a proposed bill correcting a Supreme Court case that, due to the statute of limitations, denied a narrow group of child sex abuse victims the right to sue religious organizations. Victims would also be able to sue private and nonprofit groups that employed their abusers. Under the proposed law, victims over the age of 26 in 2003 will have a chance to file lawsuits during a 1-year period. The Diocese of Stockton is now considering bankruptcy after paying out millions of dollars to settle child sexual abuse charges.
Well, did former Mayor Bob Filner actually violate San Diego's credit card policy? The audit committee is now investigating after a unanimous vote. The investigation is focusing on a trip Filner made to Paris back in June. On his trip, he was accompanied by his security guards. The trip cost nearly $22,000, according to the city records.
Right now, an investigation is underway in Carson in Southern California into the death of a 5-month-old found in an SUV yesterday evening. Officials say the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Homicide Department is investigating the child's death. Very little information has been released about this incident, and we'll bring you more details should they become available during the newscast.
Now, news up and down the California coast.
We're all set now to bring you the biggest news stories happening up and down the California coast, from Los Angeles to San Francisco.
We begin in Los Angeles in Glendale. That's where police are getting new training exercises to help officers better communicate with people with autism. The program is part of the Autism Speaks Safety Project, and according to experts, people with developmental disabilities are 7 times more likely to encounter law enforcement than others.
To Santa Barbara County, where the Board of Supervisors will hear a report about poverty within the county today. That study looks at how well resources and services are aligned to areas and populations that need them. One of the suggestions is locating and consolidating services in areas where poverty is the worst within Santa Barbara County.
Let's head to Santa Maria now. That's where Frank Godinez, a known gang member, was charged with murder. He's accused of killing Santa Maria resident Michael Christie in December of 2005. Godinez may enter a guilty plea today. Trial is set for early next year.
On to San Luis Obispo County. That's where 29-year-old Jessica Goddard is all set to return to court today. Now, preliminary results show she had a blood alcohol level of .07 just an hour after her car hit 2 cyclists in Morro Bay last week. One of those died. Goddard has not yet entered a plea in her case.
And at Seaside, that's where police will discuss with the community their plans for cameras at certain intersections. Now, earlier this year, the city was given 4 cameras from NPS to help combat violence in the city. Police say the cameras will be able to zoom in on license plates and features to help with investigations.
In Salinas, Kathleen Palmer is scheduled to appear in court today. Now, she's accused of leading police on a high-speed chase from Marina to Morro Bay. According to investigators, this started when Palmer allegedly failed to pay for gas. She's facing several charges, including driving under the influence.
We'll head to Santa Cruz County now. That's where the Board of Supervisors is expected to vote today on a moratorium for new oil exploration throughout the county. If approved, the vote would make the county the first to temporarily ban fracking. Now, fracking injects water and chemicals into rock formations, and that creates cracks to release natural gas.
Our final stop, San Francisco. The western span of the Bay Bridge could bear the name of former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown Jr., but opponents of the idea say it's inappropriate to name the span after someone who's still alive. Supporters of the idea say Brown's accomplishments as the first African-American mayor in San Francisco and the former Assembly Speaker are positive reasons to name that span after him. Still, others are saying that section should be named after an early San Francisco immigrant, Emperor Joshua Abraham Norton.
Well, if you're just waking up with us this morning, Cassandra has your up and down forecast that's coming up in 2 minutes.
Plus, we'll find out how to find the best assisted living facilities for you and your family. That's coming up a little bit later on in your home.
It's 5:38 this morning. You're taking a live look at Prague and what's happening on the other side of the world.